Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today is an exciting time. I've got a new microphone this time, and also we're going to go through some of the fastest checkmates in the game, and at the end of the video as well I'm going to be running through a game where I had the weirdest position with an opponent. So definitely a closed game, and it was almost like we were playing checkers. So without further ado, here's the fool's mate. Okay, and then the opponent does this move, and then all of a sudden that's checkmate. So that's the 2-move fool's mate. So that's one I never heard of until very later in the piece. So this one's the scholar's mate. So this is the one where I learnt when I was a kid. So this is very common. Okay, so that's a 2-move, 3-move, checkmate, 4-move checkmate. That's how you might have known it, but it's actually called the scholar's mate. And this one, sorry. So we go forward. And this is where we sacrifice the bishop, open up the queen, bishop takes, and the queen does a check. It's similar to the fool's mate, but it's a little bit more developed. And this is the last one I'm going to show you. This is the Caracan smothered mate. This one's good for me because I usually get opponents that play the Caracan, and also I do play the Caracan as well, so it's also good for me just to be careful of. And there you go. The queen targets the king, like pins the pawn, and that's a checkmate. And now this is the game I played. This was so bizarre, okay? So just watch this. So we just did a standard queen's opening. So that's like the London system. So I be in shadow the bishop here. So I'm trying to target the pawn. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. It's sort of a weird opening, but I guess trying to defend this square or put pressure on my pawn. So I'm targeting the pawn now. There's two defenders, 2 attackers. So he's going to try and disrupt my. He's going to try and disrupt my structure. And now he's targeting my bishop. So now all of a sudden I'm backing up, and I'm actually getting held back quite a bit in this game so far. He's moving forward and I'm moving back. So it's probably not something you want to do, but sometimes you just got to do what you don't want to do. So I had to move that was a sneaky move. I had to move the rook out the way because I had to remove the pin. So he moved the pawn in. If I still had the pin, then I would have lost the rook. So we can move it out the way. So now we're exchanging bishops. And now I'm defending the pawn because the rook was staring down that pawn. So I had to be very careful. Didn't want the rook to come down to the side. So I actually like this structure quite a bit. Looked quite strong. And you had the bishop here. And now he's targeting the pawn. Defending. And now he's targeting the rook. But the rook, he's targeting the rook, but it's not really a threat because we're already defending. So we've got to try not to hang anything, so then it becomes no threat at all. So we're blocking anyway, and he's targeting my pawn. I was targeting the knight, and I was targeting this square as well, and it's also pinned, but now he's defending. So sometimes a fallback move like that, moving backwards, can be a powerful move. So he's defending, running away and defending at the same time, which is pretty good. So if we moved there, that would have been a mistake. We would have been in check and would have collected the rook as well, or probably not the rook. We would have attacked the king anyway, so we would have got the pawn. But this way, kind of can get the pawn. So we've got to run away, moving back again. We're trying to push forward a little bit with our pawns here, and all of a sudden you can see how this is such a closed game. It's just so closed at the moment. It's just such a weird pawn structure. And in a closed game, I'm not sure if you know this, but in a closed game, the knights actually are more powerful. So if you have a look, my bishop's actually stuck. It's actually good in the back here because it's defending the... It's actually holding up my defense pretty well. But the knight will be able to find decent squares. So squares like... If the pawn wasn't here, squares like this. So even this square would be good for the knight. This square would be good for the knight. You can just see how powerful the knight could be in that square. Because then it's got defenders, which will make a good outpost. So we're defending twice. And he's attacking 3 times. But we're also defending with the king as well. So always remember the king. So I'm not sure why he went for this. That's where he blundered. So now we've got the upper hand. So we're up a rook now. And he's only got the knight. But if you look at that square, look at the formation. So I ended up winning this game purely for the fact that I still got the bishop, and the bishop was defending these back squares, and he couldn't really do anything. And I ended up getting the rook towards up here, and ended up getting around the back, and then targeting his back pawns. So his backward pawns, sorry, which were a major weakness. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to cut it there. All right, and then have a good night. See ya.